All right guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to show you guys real quick on how I set up my helmets to run a flawless, perfect POV of what it's like to ride a sled. All right, I want to show you my first setup that I ran last year, and I've done this before in the past and it works pretty well. But what I've got here is I've got a specific GoPro mount, and let me show you what it is. It is this mount right here, this kind of it's got this arm on it, and the key thing with this mount is it's got those screws in the bottom, and those are what make this thing bulletproof. And as you can see, I actually screw this to my helmet. I use epoxy, and today we're going to use JB Weld because I'm finding that the epoxy doesn't hold up very well in the winter time. But yeah, this makes for that perfect the perfect point of view as a sledder, as if you're looking through the goggles. Not only that, but it allows you to see your screen and whether or not you're recording and all that other stuff. So super handy, and I just love my camera right there. Now you would think it would impede your vision. To me it doesn't. To others, you know, you can run a dango mount, you can do a chest mount, you can do on top of the helmet here. This is actually for my Oxbow Light. But I personally love this view. Okay, now to do this, we're going to need a couple things. I've got both versions here, the GoPro and the DJI skeleton case. I got my DJI camera because I'm no longer running GoPro. I won't run GoPro anymore. We've switched over. And the nice thing about the DJI is it comes with this quick connect, so you can pop your camera on and off in a matter of seconds. No more thumb screws to deal with. So what you're going to need here is obviously your little arm mount right here. A thumb screw to attach the DJI mount, or in your, you know, if you're running a GoPro, your GoPro case. And then you're gonna need 3 screws that match the thread, close enough anyway, and the diameter of the screws that are in it currently, because we actually need to trim these down just slightly because these ones are so short, they won't go through the visor and then into the piece and adequately hold it. So anyway, a drill, a couple drill bits, and then of course the screwdriver that goes with your mount. Okay, the first thing we want to do is take our mount and actually remove the screws on the bottom, because this is going to separate the two halves. But as you can see right here, those 3 holes are what we're going to use to mount this to the visor. Now this is the CastleX CX100 carbon helmet, and it's got this crazy visor right here. It's very, very cool looking, but it makes it a pain to mount these mounts. So as you guys can see here, with this dip in the mount, or in the visor, it makes it hard for this to settle in place. But I found a method that works. And what I do before I go ahead and mount this is I'm actually going to drill out all 3 of these holes all the way through the plastic, and I'll show you why. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm finding a drill bit that is the same diameter as the hole that's already in it. I don't want to make the hole bigger than what it currently is. And we're going to drill the hole all the way through on all 3. And it takes just a second to do this. Okay, and there we go. We made a little bit of a mess here, but we're drilled through all the way on all 3. And now this is going to make mounting this so much easier. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to make sure that when I put this on, that it is perfectly straight, so that I don't get some weird footage having my mount crooked like that. So I'm going to make sure I'm nice and centered, and yep, right there. So we're going to go ahead and drill that hole. I should come right out at the peak of my cutout here, or my little valley. So, and that was perfect. That's what we wanted. Okay, now the next thing are these screws. Now these are the same you know, thickness, diameter, whatever, and thread as the ones that came in it, but they are extremely long. We don't need that. So if your screws are a little bit longer, you're gonna wanna cut these a little bit. And there's two ways you can do it. You can use some side cutters and just snip these a little bit shorter. And really, they need to be about a 1/2 inch long or so. These are about a 1/4 inch, they're not gonna work. About a 1/2 inch, about double the length. That way you can go through your visor and into your mount. All right, now that I've got those trimmed, I'm gonna take just a little bit larger drill bit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kind of make this hole just a little bit bigger to work with here, because this is where my screw is going to go in, and this is this can be just a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, a little bit wallered out here, because we're actually gonna thread this screw through this hole and then into our plastic piece here. So a little bit bigger is gonna work just fine. Okay, that is way better. I got my screw going in, and I'm actually gonna run my screw all the way until it gets really tight, and I'm gonna strip that out. I'm just gonna strip it out just like that. Now, I'm gonna put my mount up here, and I'm gonna thread this screw in. Now, yeah, I don't have my other two holes drilled, but there's a reason for that. I'm actually using this to line up my mount temporarily so I can drill my other holes for my other mount. So there we go. Looks like we're nice and straight there, which is what we want to be. So that looks pretty dang close. Now that I've done that, I'm going to take my drill with my drill bit, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drill my other two holes while keeping this straight. Okay, got our screws in, and as you can see, mounted pretty straight. Gonna be good enough for what I'm doing here, and our screws are actually holding this in. Now I could probably just run this like this, honestly, and it would be fine, but this is where the JB Weld comes in, and this is why we want JB Weld. Let me screw this in just a little bit tighter here. Suck this up, there we go. The JB Weld is going to make sure that this doesn't come off no matter what, and it also helps reinforce the visor. So if your visor's flat, you could probably get away with just the screws, but in my case, we're gonna throw some JB Weld on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna back all these screws out. I'm gonna mix my JB Weld, I'm gonna put it on, and then what I'm gonna do is screw that in and compress that JB Weld and then form it all the way around that. And before I do that, I'm just gonna scuff it up down there on the inside just a little, just to give it something to bond to. And we've got our mount completed. Okay guys, this isn't dry yet, but I wanted to just show you kind of how this is going to work now. So I'll take my thumb screw, I'll put my mount up in there, and this is going to be basically a permanent fixture with the DJI, because this won't ever get taken off. This will always be on there at all times. And in the past, I had my visor on the low setting, and the GoPro ran about the perfect spot. So with the DJI, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the skeleton case, because I will run the skeleton case in the wintertime, because it just kind of protects the body of the DJI. That way I don't have any issues. And then what this will do, you can see it's already magnetically held on there. That will snap on, and there we go. So that being said, I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna raise this up just a little bit, probably about halfway. And where I get it, when I get it to where I really like it in that position, I'll actually lock them babies down pretty much permanently, and we'll be set up. So there you go. There is the action cam mount right there on my CX100, and works out pretty dang good. I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna let this dry like that, and then, you know, come overnight, 24 hours once this sets up, this thing is never gonna pop back off again. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. I hope this helmet mount really allows you guys to feel confident in your mounting system. I ran a Dango a couple times in the snow, and I found that some of the impacts and stuff, the Dango wanted to fall off, especially with ice buildup on the mouthpiece. So I don't run the Dango anymore, and that is the purpose for this setup. There's a couple iterations online, like I said, but I've found this to be the best, most durable, most reliable setup that you can run. And when you're running a $400 action cam, you really don't want to lose that thing in the snow because something came undone. But it is a permanent modification to your visor, so be aware of that. Anyway, works out great for me. Hope it does for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't for more videos on how to do things, especially with snowmobiles, dirt bikes, and of course gear setups. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.